Couple things to note before you get ready to cast is how you hold the pole, where the reel is versus is it facing up or should it be facing down. And also, if you look at the tip of my pole, I'm using a casting plug right now, but you can imagine either having your bobber, a lure, or your tackle here. You always want to leave a little space from your tackle to the tip of the pole so it doesn't get stuck or do damage to the tip of your pole. I've got these fingers here. I've got my first finger up here by the lever for a little extra leverage or grip. My thumb is going to go on top of the button. When you depress that button, you want to make sure you have a nice firm press on that button. Any let up, any at all, will let your line out. So you want to be cognizant of that before you get ready to cast. When you get ready to cast, especially if you're at a lake where there's lots of people around, you always want to check behind you to make sure no one's walking behind you. And when you do, you're going to position your hand behind your shoulder. What I want you to think about is 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. When you're casting, you want follow through. So you want to cast forward and out. As your hand passes your face, that is when you're going to let go of the button, which will then release the line out into the water. So when you hear me say let go as I'm casting, you'll know that that's when I'm letting go of the button. Okay, remember we're doing 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, with 2 o'clock being where I let go. When you hear me say the words let go, that is going to signal when I'm letting go of the button with my thumb. All right, here we go. Let go. The very next thing you want to do is turn your handle until you hear a click. What that does is set your line. Without doing that, if you have a fish bite, it will continue to pull line out. With setting your line, now you're able to set the hook and reel in when you get a bite. All right, here we have our second rod and reel of choice, the spinning rod and reel. And many of the operations and the casting techniques that I just covered with the spin cast reel are going to be the same, but there are a few key differences. The first key difference is how you hold the fishing pole. Notice where my reel is positioned. It is facing down towards the ground. And with spinning reels, you should always have them face towards the ground. They should not be facing up like this. You want them facing down. Instead of a button, we have this metal bar right here that is called a bail. Okay? What you're going to do in place of the button is you want your fishing line to be parallel with your fishing rod. You're going to take your first finger and you're going to grip the line and hold it against the fishing rod. The rest of your hand goes around the reel like this. Thumb is positioned on the top. After that, what you're going to do is you're going to flip that metal bar that we call the bail. You're going to flip that over. What that does is when you cast, that is what's going to allow the line to go out into the water. So now we're ready to cast. We're going to remember 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and we're going to remember our follow through with casting forward and out. So step one, I'm going to grab the fishing line. I'm going to make sure it's parallel with my rod. I'm going to grab it and hold it against the fishing rod with my first finger. And when I say let go, this time it means when I let go of the fishing line with my first finger. Step two, I'm going to flip over the bail. Step three, prepare to cast. Let go. All right, so I've just casted. The very next step is you want to turn your handle till it clicks, and this time you will notice that the bail has flipped back over. What that does, that is set your fishing line and doesn't allow any more line to come out. So when a fish bites, you can set the hook, take the slack out, and start reeling in your fish.